as a child, you don't know it, but then as you get older, there was a lot of dysfunction. Mom and dad split up they got a divorce when I was a year old. My high school years, there was a lot of judgment, a lot of jealousy, a lot of other girls that just wanted to tear down my spirit. And they did. They succeeded. I turned to boys for attention. I got a boyfriend at 15. It got sexual really quick. So then finally, when I think my mom mentioned something about me needing pads or something, and I went to the grocery store with him because I couldn't do that at home. And we got a pregnancy test, and I took it in the bathroom in the grocery store. It was shock for the both of us. I'm sure that he was very shocked, but the anger that came out of him was scary, and it was very quick, and it's just like he knew exactly who to go to. I didn't know about abortion. I had no knowledge about consequences or anything that had to do with the word abortion. Abortion did not exist in my world. The day of that abortion will be forever in my mind. I will never forget. The lights are dim, it's kind of dark, and they sit me in these stirrups, and then they lay me down, and right away she's telling me that she needs to administer the IV so that they can do the general anesthesia. And as she's preparing for that, a man walks into the room, which I assume was the abortionist. I start crying and crying and crying. He keeps looking and pressing really hard on my belly with this ultrasound machine, but he forgets to turn the monitor. So I had already the IV in me, and when I looked to the side, I was laying down, so the tears were running back, and I looked to the side, and he goes, "Oh, there it is." And I start crying hysterically, and I see a little jelly bean baby, an image of an actual child. Like, you see the head, you see the body. I'm like, wow, this is a kid. And that's all I thought, and that was the last thought that was in my mind before I went under. The next thing I remember is waking up in this other room full of recliners, and I wake up all confused. I remember looking around, and the first thing that I notice is wailing. There's a lot of people crying, and I start crying. So I'm finding myself as one of those people that were wailing around me, and it was because of all the pain and the loss and all the guilt and all the shame that comes over you right away, immediately. We kind of shook this off. It's like if never really happened. We continued to be sexually active. That never stopped. He seemed happier. So I felt like we had probably done the right thing. But quickly after that, probably, I would say about a year later, I ended up pregnant again. It was kind of like a little bit of redemption. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be able to take care of this baby and like really do this time. The reaction in that hallway haunts me. Right away, all those feelings of redemption and excitement, and maybe even about starting a family, they disappeared. And it hurt, emotionally and physically. So it's a big blur. The second time I had to go to that same clinic, it's like if it never happened. I know it did in the back of my mind, but it's not there like the first time. Right after that, he was happy again, and we decided to get married. I became a rebel. I had a lot of self-damaging traits. I wanted to commit suicide. I didn't want to take care of myself. I wanted something to happen. I would put myself in the situations that a lot of people don't come out of, but nothing ever happened. Even though I went through about 3 years of just really bad things, I ended up divorcing him. My family, my mom, my dad and stepdad and brother and sister, they dragged me to this church. When the pastor started speaking, it clicked. So I recommitted my life to Christ. I had a realization that God had always been there, and he loved me so much. He never let me go. He wanted to connect with me. He prompted all this. I went to this women's retreat in 2012. This retreat was amazing, and God brought me to the cross. I was free, and I got to acknowledge my children, and I dreamt about my kids, and I named my children. This is Nathaniel. These shoes represent him and what he would be. My other baby, my cutie Jay, I got to acknowledge him as well. They forgive me, and they love me, and I love them, and I'm waiting for them to meet them in heaven. I'm currently married, and I have 2 little girls, and I'm currently expecting 2 more blessings from above. And all I have to say is that God loves you. God loves me. God loves all of us, and He's ready. He's ready to just take it, to take all your nastiness, all your stuff that you think you can't hand over to Him. He'll take it, and He does some beautiful things with it.